Welcome to Whole Mindset Mastery. WHOLE is an acronym for Wealthy, Healthy, Optimal Life Expectancy. My name is T. Today's topic is, how much do you need to retire? If you asked me this question before 2018, I cannot give you that answer. That's after K through 12 education, a bachelor degree, and 18 years in the workforce. Thankfully, after I read Your Money or Your Life by Vick and Dominquez, Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins, and Mr. Money Mustache blogs, along with other 5 financial independence community, I can now answer that question with high degree of certainty and how to achieve it. They taught me how to live an intentional and purposeful life so that I can increase the gap between my income and expenses so that I can employ the army of dollars to work for me while I eat, sleep, work out, and on vacation. After all, making money is much more efficient than you and I can. I am not a financial advisor, a doctor, or a lawyer. This is not meant to be a financial or medical advice. I am only sharing my failures, many of them, 2 decades of them as a matter of fact, learnings and successes. Okay, I digress. You came here to find out how much money you need to retire. To answer that question, you need to determine your FIN, Financial Independence Number. To calculate it, you need to take your yearly base expense, time that by 25. If your yearly expense is $40,000, you time that by 25, you need a nest egg, or your FIN number is $1 million. If your yearly expense is $50,000, time that by 25, you need $1.25 million. If $50,000 is not enough and you need $80,000, the same math applies. You take $80,000 times 25, you need $2 million. Why time your expense by 25? That's because the inverse of 25 is 0.04. Most financial experts recommend a 4% withdrawal, also known as the 4% rule. The 4% rule is based on the Trinity study, the save withdrawal rate where a retiree can safely withdraw 4%, inflated and adjusted, where the nest egg lasts over 30 years. Of course, this is a little oversimplified. There's other factors to consider: taxes, investment fees, and sequence of return risk. A sequence of return risk simply means you can potentially experience a negative portfolio later in your working career or early in your retirement. So using the 4% rule, more like a guideline, you can use the reverse math. So the inverse of 25 is 0.04. Retirement income now becomes 0.04, which is 4% of your FIN, Financial Independence Number. That is $40,000. 4% of your 1.25 million, that's $50,000 of income per year. 4% of 2 million, that's $80,000 of income. Now that you know how to calculate FIN, Financial Independence Number, and you know how much you need to retire, let's take a little peek into my FI number. My FI number, Financial Independence Number, is 1.25 million. And the reason is 1.25 million, we can live a fulfilling and meaningful life at $50,000 a year. As I stated earlier, you can see that I only tracked since 2018. And that's because prior to 2018, I didn't know what FI was. Prior to 2018, I only knew about 401k, save 10 to 15%, and work until I'm 60. So that's the reason why you don't see tracking before 2018. So my FI number is 1.25 million, and I do track my net worth and my nest egg. Net worth is simply total assets, which is nest egg plus fixed assets, minus liability, all the debt. That's the net worth. But in this scenario, I'm only focusing on nest egg, which is my financial independence number. So if you look at my nest egg, since I started tracking, total rate of return from age 41 through age 46 was 2.78. That's an annualized growth of 30.5%. A total growth of $410,084. At age 41, it was $147,290. You see here, $147,290.13. And then at age 46, end of 2023, it was at $557,374. It goes into this column here. So based on from age 41 to age 46, at 2.78 total rate of return, annualize it at a 30.5% growth. Keep in mind, this is my contribution as well as my investment growth. If the projection remained true, by the time I turn 47, it'll be $727,347 nest egg. 48, it will be $949,000. And 49, it'll be very close to 1.25 million, $1,238,601. And at age 50, it will exceed the 1.25 million. So I should reach that 1.25 million between 49 and 50 years old. The reason I can achieve 1.25 million by the age of 50 is all through investment. Here's where the power of money making money and the power of compound interest and time. If you look at how much my portfolio gained from year over year, if you look at from 41 to 42, my portfolio went up by $110,000. That's a 75% increase. The next year at 43, it gained another 37%. That's another $95,000. And then at 44, it gained 42.7%. That's another $150,000 in change. And then, of course, when I was 45, back in 2022, we all know what happened. No one can escape from this. This is a classic example. When you invest, the market will always go up. The market will always go down. But over time, you're guaranteed a 10% growth. Obviously, I have to put a disclaimer. Historically, you're guaranteed a 10% growth. But historical performance is not an indicator of future performance. So keep that in mind. But this just to show that when you invest, you have to be ready for the downturn. I was down 26% in 2022. But when you invest, you don't lose money or gain money until you sell. And as a long-term investor, as someone who's accumulating wealth, when the market is down, when you're in the wealth accumulation phase, you should be celebrating because you're getting it at a discount. Now you look at 2023, it has a pretty nice rebound. 49% from the previous year, $184,000 in its growth. That pushed me back up to $557,000 and $374. This section here, in case you guys have an eagle eye, I'll talk about that in the later section. This is where I like Dave Ramsey. Millions of Americans can benefit from his philosophy, his mindset. But to me, I don't believe all debts are bad. If you understand how debt works, you understand how to leverage it, and you don't over leverage, and you're not buying depreciated asset, why not? Once you reach financial independence, you can continue to work in your current profession, pursue your passion or purpose, or make an impact, or simply retire. As for me, I look forward to dedicating my time, money, and energy to work on my purpose. I believe I get to experience and live through poverty, pain, struggles, failures, and successes for a reason. 12 years in refugee camp with no running water, 8 years living below the poverty line, living off of welfare, and living in a high crime, high gain environment in Long Beach, California. 12 years of spending spree with $0 saved for retirement and a negative net worth. Now, I get to live the life that I could only dreamed of as a child. Over the last 14 years, I get to enjoy what life has to offer while accumulating a generational wealth. I hope my life story resonates with you and others. Let's spread the positivity and hope. And yes, the American dream is still alive. With my full-time work and my kids' sporting events in full swing, I have made a commitment to post every 2 weeks on Sunday evening. Until then, if you are one of the few that already know how to calculate your financial independence number, to know how much you need to retire, great, you don't have to do anything. But if you don't know and you have learned something new, take the time to understand your expenses. If you haven't tracked your expense down to the detail, if you itemize your last 3 months of expenses and extrapolate that over a full year, that should be enough to give you a baseline expense, and then do your math.